Okay, so this is my last attempt at recording this video. TikTok keeps deleting my recordings, but I wanted to give you an update on my dental saga. So if you haven't, go watch that video. But just to kind of give you a little understanding of how dentistry works in case you are unfamiliar with crowns and how that works. Basically, I fell and chipped my tooth when I was 14 years old. Due to the trauma, I had discoloration, so I had to get a crown. And to get a crown, they have to drill down your tooth. It was this tooth, number 9. Drill it down to kind of a creepy little nub. They put a permanent temporary crown on it that they make right there in the office. They send pictures and impressions to a lab. The lab's sends the dentist a permanent crown, and it often takes a few tries of going in, trying on the permanent crown, it not looking right, and then having to come back 2, 3, 4 more times until they get the permanent crown right. So I did not want to go through that again, but unfortunately crowns do not last forever. So at my last cleaning, back in June, a hunk of my crown fell off, and or it came off in the back, and they had to bond it and repair it, and I had to make an appointment to finally get a new permanent crown made. So this practice had one dentist, we'll call him Dr. B. I'm not going to give full names because I don't want to ruin their business. And Dr. B has been practicing for 30-some years, has a stellar reputation. And Connor, my partner, and his family have been going there since the 90s. So I trusted him, and I'm super picky about who I trust with my teeth. So I drove like an hour plus there. But then Dr. R, who's a newer, younger dentist, joined the practice a year or two ago, and Dr. B was really busy, so I kept getting scheduled with Dr. R for my cleanings. He was at the cleaning where the hunk of my crown fell off. It was the hygienist doing the cleaning, not him. But anyhow, so I made the appointment with Dr. R to do the crown because I was pretty familiar with him at this point. I'd had more appointments with him than Dr. B, and I just assumed he was just as good as Dr. B, and he was available sooner. And I, with the bonding work on my permanent crown from 14 years ago, I knew it could fall out at any moment, and I didn't want that to happen. So anyhow, I go to this appointment with Dr. R, and so they have to take off, kind of saw off my old crown, take impressions, take photos, do a scan, all these things, and then they finally made me a temporary crown. And it looked so bad. It was like the wrong color, the wrong shape. It was like gray, and like you can see my natural teeth kind of curve at the bottom. This was like a horse tooth shape, like very boxy and square. I wouldn't have even gone, I don't know, to the grocery store with that tooth. It was so bad. And so I called like the front desk, or I don't know, office staff, whoever you want to call them, the people that answer the phones. They're amazing, by the way. And I sent them the picture, explained the situation, and they agreed it was not acceptable. So I came back the very next morning, and Dr. B, the more experienced dentist, made me a beautiful crown. And so after that, I'm like, I want to work with Dr. B on this case. And they're like, no, it's against our policy to switch dentists mid-procedure. You can't do that. So and they told me that, it was the assistant that helped him make it, and she could recreate it for the next appointment. So a week or two later, probably 3 weeks later, I come back. The lab has now sent in a permanent crown. I'm really hoping it'll fit or look good. It did not look good, did not match. So they had to make me a new permanent crown because they kind of drill it open in the middle every time. They ruin it. You can't reuse it. So they made me a new one. I had to help a lot with it, like giving feedback and telling them how to stain it and shape it. And it was still not nearly as good as the original crown, but I was, I had to live with it for another couple weeks. And so I come back again 2 weeks later, and this was just last week. And of course, the next permanent crown the lab sends in still doesn't look good. And this time, the dental assistant and the dentist are very short with me. They're clearly losing patience. They're like, we're not making all the adjustments like you wanted last time. It's only a temporary crown. And I felt so helpless and vulnerable at that point because I didn't have like a tooth. I just had a nub and like, I just needed to get a tooth in at that point. So but it was very scary and upsetting for me. And that's, when I made that video last week saying I was going to lay low because I felt like I was just going to be stuck with this tooth. But the next day I called and told them how badly I was treated and how unhappy I was. And when I sent the picture, they're like, yeah, we agree. That's not a good looking tooth. Like, we'll see what we can do. And a couple of days later, they finally told me they would let me, or the Dr. B, the better dentist, would take on my case. So this morning, he finally saw me and made me a beautiful crown. I do have to start over, but I think in about 3 weeks, I should get my permanent crown. It may or may not look good. I might have to go through this process again 2 or 3 more times. But I just feel like I'm in better hands now. And like, he just made this crown all on his own. I didn't have to give any corrections or anything. He's just that good that he just knew what to do. So I'm grateful that my work as a cuddle therapist gave me the ability to confront people and have those uncomfortable discussions and just assert my boundaries and say when I'm not comfortable. Because if I didn't have this job, I don't think I would have had the skills I needed to navigate this dental nightmare. So I'm glad to be back and making videos. Let me know in the comments if you have any topics you want me to discuss, anything you want to know about. And I'll see you in the next video. Like and follow for more cuddle content.